happy and grateful to Dr. Shastri for the invitation to talk here on this platform. I'm in contact with Sriviti for quite some time. I met Dr. Shastri maybe 15 years ago on a conference in Pune, which was on traditional knowledge. And since then, we are in contact. And I went to his place twice. The first time I was in Hyderabad. And then when he shifted to Guntur, I was there at this conference also. And I was impressed that in his institute, Vedic knowledge is not just studied theoretically as some philosophical interesting knowledge, but that it is put into practice. That is, the Vedic texts were studied, and he tried to find out whether the things actually work. So he produced nano particles with the help of herbs, which is quite exceptional, a very good quality, and a very simple way, not polluting. And that was really impressive. And then also he helped me to analyze Agnihotra ash as compared to control ash. And that leads to more understanding of how this ancient knowledge of Agnihotra works. So I'm very grateful to Dr. Shastri, and I'm looking forward to collaborating in future also. Afternoon, everybody, to this conference, Ancient Wisdom and Modern Applications. I'm thankful to the organizers, especially to Dr. Shastri, for inviting me and to talk about Agnihotra Vedic knowledge in the light of modern science. This is me and the contact data. And why is it so important? The ancient knowledge of the Vedas has long been nearly forgotten, and only in recent decades, as modern technology has led to a terrific destruction of the planet, more and more people are looking into that ancient-most body of knowledge known to mankind in search of solutions to this urgent and serious problem. One such solution is Agnihotra, a simple but fundamental copper purifier performed exactly at the time of sunrise and sunset. We do not take Vedic knowledge for granted, but treat statements of the Vedas as hypotheses, which then will be put to test by modern science. So what is Agnihotra? It is a fire you perform in a small copper pyramid of fixed size and shape. And the ingredients are dried cow dung, pure cow dung, not mixed with any other dung, pure cow's ghee, unpolished rice, unbroken pieces only, akshat, and mantra, and exact timings of sunrise, sunset. Now, these timings, to get these timings is very easy. We have an app called Agnihotra Buddy, available both for Android phones and iPhones, which give you easily for every place, every date, the exact timing of sunrise and sunset. And the mantras. Mantras very simple. In the morning, it's Suryaya Swaha, Suryaya Idam Namama, Prajapataye Swaha, Prajapataye Idam Namama. And after Swaha, you add one portion of rice mixed with ghee into the fire. And in the evening, also two mantras, Agnaye Swaha, Agnaye idam namama, Prajapataye Swaha, Prajapataye idam namama. That's it. Very simple mantras. And the whole process, morning Agnihotra, evening Agnihotra, takes anything between 5 and 10 minutes. And why is this timing of sunrise, sunset so important? There is some ancient knowledge which says at the time of sunrise, there's a flood of energies coming from the sun to the place on the earth where the sun appears to rise. This flood carries a subtle music in it, and the quintessential sound of that music is the mantra which we do. This explains why we have to be strict with the timing and also with these mantras. Interesting, I found this slide from an American astrophysicist, and he confirms what I said. He says that at sunrise, million ampere currents head in toward the Earth, and at sunset, they go out again. So when we perform Agnihotra, the fire already should be fully ablaze, and then we take a few grains of rice mixed with ghee. For example, we take it in the left hand or in some copper dish. And after swaha in these mantras, we add it to the fire. We do that with the right hand. Even left-handed people do it with the right hand because right hand, left hand have different energies. And what happens? It is said that the channel is created through all the atmosphere, and life energy, prana energy, comes down through this channel, creates an aura energy field around our plants nearby. When the flame dies, this energy comes back and is collected and stored in the Agnihotra ash. This is why the Agnihotra ash has these healing effects in different parts. So what happens? What is the benefit of Homa therapy? Basically, all nature comes back to harmony. The environment is purified, atmosphere, soil, and water resources. Also, biodiversity gets restored. In this way, food security can be maintained and human health improves, both physical and mental. In my talk for the Silver Jubilee of SIVT, I talked about these benefits at some length, and you can see the recording on this tube links. So today I want to only summarize the effects and then concentrate on the question, how come? What are the mechanisms? How does this Agnihotra work? And please note one thing, all these following studies, everything what I say is based on Agnihotra, exact Agnihotra, copper pyramid of exact size and shape, precise materials, correct timings, correct exact to the second, and exact mantras. I know that there are many, many other yajnas, and what I say has nothing to do with them. That is about these other yajnas, we did not do any studies, so I can't comment on that. Effects on Agnihotra on the atmosphere first. There are many studies done on the effect on the atmosphere. One is the bacterial load in atmosphere goes down. You see here, left was the petri dishes were opened before Agnihotra, right side after Agnihotra, then sent for incubation. Immediately you see a big reduction in these bacteria. Also, particulate matter and SOx, NOx are reduced. Here you see an experiment done at Vikram University in Ujjain, where they have a high volume air sampler and measured the particulate matter. Then more such results, experiments were done at other universities. And here you see the chemical air pollution, SOx and NOx, as well as the physical air pollution, particulate matter. In the moment of Agnihotra, they go a little bit up because of the smoke, but then they come down by 30–40%. Also very interesting, at the time of Agnihotra, there's a sharp increase in the negative ion content in the air. And you know, negative ions are an indicator of fresh air. So Agnihotra improves that a lot. Effects on water. That was one simple experiment done in Pune. They took water from a polluted river and poured it through a cylinder filled with Agnihotra ash. And the water, which was very much polluted, afterwards had drinking water quality. For example, bacterial count went down by more than 90%. But not only, and this is why people use it, Agnihotra ash, to purify their drinking water. Put a little bit Agnihotra ash in the water in the evening, drink it in the morning. That's a very good method. But not only small quantities of water can be purified, even big water bodies like a river. That is the Narmada River in the vicinity of Maheshwar in MP. The Narmada River is quite big at that time, and they have research stations where they test the quality of water. There were 2 research stations below or upstream of our Homa therapy place and 1 research station downstream. And you see here the water quality. The second last column is Maheshwar, where we perform Homa therapy. And there the water quality is much better than upstream and downstream. So this Homa works also on larger water bodies. Effects on soil. We have seen that with Homa organic farming methods, which are based on regular Agnihotra, use of Agnihotra ash, and a fertilizer containing Agnihotra ash, cow dung, and cow urine, and vermicompost, we can achieve better yields, better quality of crops, resistance to pests and diseases, improvement of soil health, beneficial microbes increase, harmful microbes are being controlled. Both alkaline, sodic, and acidic soil gets back to normal pH, and soil organic carbon increases, thus helping to sequester CO2 from the atmosphere. And this point is very important in the context of climate change. Modern agriculture is highly contributing to CO2 in the atmosphere. One big factor is the reduction of SO2 by erosion, which removes humus content, by killing microbes, by burning petty straw, and so on. With Homa organic farming, soil organic carbon increases. We have measured 15 to 17%. And in India, on conventional farms, the SOC content is mostly less than 1%, often even around 0.5%. So now, let's come to Agnihotra ash. How does it work? First, one simple experiment. You see here, that was a germination experiment. That was done in many, many places. We germinate seeds, same seeds, only one thing with tap water, second with Agnihotra ash at the right side, and in the middle, we have control ash. Control ash we do because we know that any ash has some nutrients. So just comparing tap water with Agnihotra ash water would not be fair. So the control ash we prepare by burning the same substances, also in some copper vessel, but not using the exact dimensions and shape of the Agnihotra pyramid, not using the mantras, and not doing this at sunrise, sunset. And you see with Agnihotra ash, there's a big change, of course, big change compared to tap water, but also big improvement compared to control ash. Now the question, how come? It can't be the chemical composition of Agnihotra ash which leads to this difference. First thing, chemically speaking, there's hardly any difference. How could there be? Because we burn the same substances, and we have a comparison. This experiment was done in Guntur by Dr. Shastri in 2014, comparing the contents of Agnihotra ash and control ash. Most elements are pretty much the same. Only copper has a higher content. Agnihotra ash has a higher content in copper than control ash. That may not be a general result because in other places we do not have this. For example, that was a result which we got from Shivapuri in Maharashtra some time ago, and then the copper content was 0.05%. So it's not always such a high content in Agnihotra ash. And also, if you look at some results we got from US, the copper content is here's 2%, and there in this measurement 1%. It depends on the cow dung which they used. Of course, the cow dung composition of the cow dung is different depending on what the cows eat. So there is some difference in this composition of the Agnihotra ash, but that does not matter. The effect is there independent of the exact analysis of the Agnihotra ash. So that leads to the question, and that is also the same, whether we use Agnihotra ash from India, from South America, North America, Australia, or Europe. In all these places, we get similar positive results of the Agnihotra ash. So the question is, how come, if it's not the chemical composition? So we did some spectroscopy analysis of both Agnihotra ash and control ash. First thing is, that was done infrared absorption in Amalner in Maharashtra. And you see there are some differences, especially there are some additional peaks, blue is the Agnihotra ash, which are not there in the control ash. And then we did UV visible light spectroscopy, again done by Dr. Shastri in Guntur. And also here you see some difference, not very big difference. Basically the graphs are relatively similar, still some difference you see. Here, that experiment was done a long time back in IIT Madras, X-ray diffraction, and also here you see some differences. It would be good to repeat all these analyses and also do this with different types of Agnihotra, and control ash means with ashes from different sources where they use different kinds of cow dung and so on and so on. And I invite all scientists interested in this subject to come on board and help to better understand how Agnihotra and Agnihotra ash work. So that refers to the electromagnetic properties. But there's another hypothesis, and that is sound. Sound influences matter. And this has been nicely shown in many demonstrations of cymatics, which studies the effect of sound waves on inert substances like sand, powder, or liquids. Here you see a photo of which was done at Berk's laboratory in US long time back in the 50s, and they make sound waves visible. So that is very impressive. Another technique is to have one plate with, for example, some liquid, for example, water, and underneath you have some loudspeaker. And different frequencies lead to different patterns. Here you see a lot, for example, piano notes give a certain patterns. So that shows impressively that sound influences matter. It has a strong effect on matter. And in Agnihotra, sound plays an important role. We have two types of sound. First, the sound of the mantras. And second, it is also said, as in the beginning I mentioned, that at sunrise, the many fires, electricities, ethers, and more subtle energies are emanating from the sun and extend all the way to the earth and produce a flood effect at those coordinates where the sun is said to rise. At sunrise, that music can be heard. The morning Agnihotra mantras is the essence of that flood. This is the quintessential sound of that flood. So we have these two things, the sound coming from the sun and the sound of the mantras. So that leads to a strong resonance effect. Therefore, it seems obvious that sound plays an important role in the modus operandi of Agnihotra, in the mechanisms how Agnihotra works. But there's a problem. According to common knowledge of physics, sound is a vibration that propagates as an acoustic wave through a transmission medium such as gas, liquid, or solid. And the images shown in the previous slides made these vibrations of sound visible in an impressive manner. But these vibrations only last for a short time. The vibration patterns in liquids, for example, water, subside after a short time. In sand, they would stay until you move the plate. Then immediately the pattern will be destroyed. So with Agnihotra ash, how can this vibrational pattern be stored? Because Agnihotra is taken out from the pyramid, filled in glass bottles, shaking during transport, taken out of the bottle, and, for example, mixed with soil for germination experiments. No way that an original vibration pattern could survive this treatment. Still, such a vibration pattern in Agnihotra ash must be somehow stored, as we can see when we add this ash to water and then shock freeze drops of that water. See this result. This is water where you added Agnihotra ash, and then you take a drop of that water and put it on a glass plate which is cooled down to minus 30 degrees. Immediately, the water freezes and you get these nice crystals with Agnihotra ash. Without the ash, you don't get the crystals. So that shows that somehow a subtle sound is stored in Agnihotra ash, and when this subtle sound gets released, and then this subtle sound gets released when Agnihotra gets in contact with plants, animals, and humans. This would explain the healing effects of Agnihotra ash in the different fields. But as modern science, scientific equipment cannot measure this sound yet, this is for the moment only a hypothesis. If true, this hypothesis could also explain the results of an experiment we did with water and bacteria.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to my Startup TV.